here it is. This is very important. They are not going to take away your stoves if you have a gas stove. Yet, they are. Okay, but that's a conspiracy theory, but they've confirmed that they're doing it. But anybody who's talking about it is a conspiracy theorist.
Perfect.
Easy to understand. Are you following?
So far, yes.
They are not, they're not going to take away your coal or your wood-fired pizza oven. They're not going to do it. Anybody who says they're doing that, it's a conspiracy theory. Except they are doing it to restaurants in New York. But that's just coal and wood-fire stoves that are not being closed that they want closed.
And
okay?
I will say there is no level of importance, culturally, of New York coal oven pizza. That's not like something that is important to the city, well known. There's just it's not like pizza from New York is a thing, right?
Right. It's like, get rid of the yellow taxi cabs, and the streets still look the same in New York. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not an important thing to New Yorkers, or to, for instance, give me any reason to go visit New York. It wouldn't be because of the pizza, because it tastes entirely different. I don't know what it is, but it is an entirely different taste. It's not just the experience. It's a different taste in New York. New York slices of pizza are the best. Some of them are wood, come from wood fire ovens. You can get that same exact quality and taste from an electric oven. Now, let me ask you a question. If that were true, can you imagine the paperwork and the permitting and the hassle and the cost of putting in a wood-fired oven in a building in New York? Now, sure, yes, they're not exactly called ovens in many of the best crack houses in New York. They're probably called just more of a fire. But if you want to do it legally, it would be a hassle. Why would you do that? It's not for the ambiance. It's because it actually tastes better. It's different. And this guy yesterday went up to City Hall and threw a pizza at City Hall. If I were there, I would have supported him and then licked the cheese off the wall. But by the way, kids, don't eat the gum you find on the subway. Don't do it. It's not good. It's not good.
We learned that from the documentary Elf. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. We did. And don't lick the cheese. I mean, unless you see the guy and you're there right away where it's still a little hot. I think this guy's a hero.
I'm not surprised. I feel like the goal here seems to be to take away anything you might enjoy in life. Anything that might be pleasant in any particular way must be destroyed. That seems to be the goal here.
You can get frozen pizzas.
You can.
I mean, temporarily. Right now you can. Mm-hmm. And there's no difference, Stu.
No.
Now, the elite will fly into some place like Naples where they'll have it in the brick-fired, wood-fired pizza oven, but you don't need that. You don't need that.
No. No, it's funny because
the average people.
The environmentalists have tried this stuff before, which is like, there's a couple different types of things they try to do. Like, they try to stop coal-fired power plants, right? But no one has a particular allegiance, unless you're in the coal industry, to coal-fired power plants. If the power works, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Coal is a really good value for in some regions. It works for certain things. But like, if you had nuclear, if solar actually worked, like I don't care as long as the power turns on when I want it to turn on. That's my only preference. The other thing they do is they go after these
quote
unquote
at a reasonable price.
Right. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. A reasonable price. In fact, a very low price, because low-priced electricity is the foundation of our civilization. When it comes to pragmatic, non-spiritual things, that's kind of the most important thing that we have out there. So then you go to the other approach that environmentalists have, far less successful, I would argue, for them, which is trying to take away things that they see as luxuries that people really enjoy. Like, there was a big movement they had a while ago about trying to take away big screen televisions. And it's like, I don't know if you know any Americans. I don't. Are there any that you've ever met?
No, I think they hate Americans.
Yeah.
They hate Americans. When I was over in London, it's a different world. Nobody has air conditioning. They're like, we just get used to it. Well, I'm an American. I don't want to get used to it. Now, if I live in Seattle, I grew up without air conditioning. You only need it maybe 3-4 weeks out of the year. But in those 3-4 weeks, I want it. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm an American. We can afford it. I would like it. Make it more efficient? Sure. But you know one of the other things that pisses me off? The water faucets. If I am living, I went over to London and I turn on the shower and it just pours out. Have you taken a shower someplace with a new water faucet in America? They have put a regulator on it. So now, you're kind of like, drip, 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 drip. Okay, I got a shampoo under that drip. It is horrible.
Well, Glenn, you should know, and this is something very, very important, that the restrictions, of course, are put on for example, the shower head is where the restriction is. And if you go on YouTube, I want you to know, if you see a video that explains exactly how to get rid of that thing, you should not click on it and use it in your house, because that would be wrong.
Not. What should I not search for?
I will give this. I don't know exactly what you should not search for, but let me. I'll look that up here in a second, because I'm not saying.
And then tell me on the air what we should not search for.
Right,
because it is the bane of my existence. It makes me so angry. I'm on well water, so how does that affect you? Well, the aquifer. Shut up. Shut up. My shower is going to run the aquifer dry. Shut up.
How to remove a water restrictor from a shower head is not something you should search for on YouTube. If you do that, you may come in contact with a video that would allow you to, in your own home, designate how much water you want to come out of that shower head. Do you want it to be a super soaker extravaganza with high water pressure? You might want that. And you'd be able to do that if you followed the instructions on videos like that on YouTube. And I do not, first of all, I would never do that because it would be wrong. But secondly, I don't want to put anyone in a position where they might be breaking a local restriction. It would be bad for you.
Right. It would be very bad, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to click on that, and I'm not going to change it, even though I have well water. I don't care. I care about the community and what life is going to be like. I'm going to try to fix the problems that I know people will be facing in 100 years from now. It's like, for instance, thank God my grandfather saved the best button hook he could ever find. And he was like, when my family, when they are going to be buttoning their shoes, they're going to want the best button hook out there. And he couldn't find it. He had one. He wanted a second one. They weren't making them anymore. And he's like, damn it. In 100 years, somebody will wish they had this button hook.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we are planning 100 years in the future, because we know what their life is going to be like, just like my grandfather did with his button hook.
100%. And now you see that they're trying to get rid of the wood and coal-fired ovens in New York. And that's, of course, predicting what could be going on in 100 years, just like back in 1900 when New Yorkers came together to come up and try to solve the biggest environmental issue of the day, which was how to remove all the manure from the streets from the horses. There were so many horses, and as that city grows, Glenn, in 100 years, manure will be piled up everywhere. How do they get rid of it? It was a really crucial environmental issue of the day, and thank God they solved it. I can't remember how they solved it, but they solved it somehow.
I solved it with my grandfather's button hook.
Okay.
So it was great.